Check. So, Zen crypto, the Bitcoin cycle top effect. Somebody asked me an update on Zen and what is going on within the entire ecosystem. So that's what we're going to talk about today with a little bit of Bitcoin. Stick around, stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get straight into this one. As you can see, we are up with Zen on ETH 14%, which means by the time you see this video, it could be up, it could be down, whatever. But the Bitcoin effect, meaning simply a lot of people are overlooking this, right? We can only attempt to time the market when it comes to the likes of pulsechain and Zen with the Bitcoin cycle tops. Now, a series of events has happened with Bitcoin lately, and a lot of people are missing this out, right? Just hear me out for a minute. Usually, let's talk some metrics and data today. According to Bitcoin's price top cycle top histories, right? We topped in 2013 at $1,200, and then 2017, end of 2017 again at $20,000, and then November 2021 again, every 4 years at $69,000, right? So you notice that every time we top, we come way back down before another cycle top, meaning it is a multiple year bear market. All of that stuff is happening into effect. But in each of those happenings, every time we top, we never came back under our previous all-time high, and we also never went up to new price discovery before a Bitcoin halving point. Now, this is the history of all Bitcoin halvings, right? November 28, 2012. Now, the first halving is 2009. We can't count that one because it started at block 0. Doesn't really matter, as we didn't top major until 2013. Now, November 28, 2012. Very important date for Bitcoin. It is the second Bitcoin halving, you can say, right? Because the first one started at block 0 or whatever. Some people call this the first halving. So November 2012. This is when we halved, and then exactly around 510 days later, we topped, right? Some people say may even, let's say 300 and some odd days, because 28th of November, we had a little halving, and then around December, if you notice, December 2013, that's when we went to 1100, and then January, somehow February 2013, cycle top at $1,300 from like 30 some odd dollars in 2012. Price, look at that, $12. Who would have bought Bitcoin at 12? So then you have the second halving, this time July 9th, 2016. Once Bitcoin halved, the price was around $600. 500 and some odd days later, until December 2017, right, we had another cycle top at $20,000. Think about that, $600 all the way to $20,000, 500 some odd days. And then we halved again in 11th of May, shout out to Bob Marley, RIP, 2020. And then a year later in 2021, again, 500 and some odd days, November, we had another top. November of 2021, which is $69,000 or something to that nature, 70K. Let's just round it up to 70. So you notice that it's always from halving to top, either 300, 400, or 500 days. Now, we haven't had 300 days exactly since 2012. Now, what I'm thinking is that because this time around, a certain event happened that many people are not looking into. Just hear me out on this, right? This time around, because on each of those occasions, we didn't reach a new all-time high until after a halving. After a halving, we start going up again. But this time around, we reached an all-time high before a Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin just halved in April 20th, 2024, which is about a month ago. But a phenomenon happened between March 10th and March 14th of 2024. So exactly 1 month before the Bitcoin halving of 2024, we reached new price discovery. Bitcoin ran up to like $67,000 to $73,000, surpassing its previous 2021 all-time high of 70K. Now, This is crazy now. This indicates something to me. It means that we are officially in a bull market, but we actually entered the bull market phase before a halving, about 1 month before. So judging by this, if we chop those 500 days, 500 days between 2016 and 2017 before a top, and then another 500 days between March 2020 to November 2021. If you chop it in half, you're coming to a date that is around 250 days from the Bitcoin halving of 2024, which would put us right smack down towards the end of this year, which is October, November, December. You can even put Q1 of 2025, right? That will put us between 250 days somehow. After the Bitcoin halving of 2024, we may see a new major cycle top, which means get ready for DeFi summer. That's why the other day when I made that video, I mentioned DeFi summer, because a lot of people are asking, what do you mean by DeFi summer? I just mean crypto summer, by the way, because Bitcoin could see new price discoveries, 70, 80K, approaching that 100K mark. We are in June right now. June, July, August, those 3 months would be very, very important and decisive months for what is about to happen. And summer is always hot for crypto, leading up to the bull market cycle top. So in order for us to see maybe 200K, 150K BTC, we might have to hit 100K really, really soon. I'm calculating between 3 to 4 months from now. I could be wrong. We just, guesstimating, looking at data and these metrics right here. So I'm looking at cycle top after cycle top. And if we do that 250 days, simply because the 73K that we hit before a halving, makes all of this stuff null and void now, which means we could hit a new top earlier, then you are going to be looking at towards the end of this year to see some crazy numbers. And this is where Zen crypto comes in. Zen could go up with the rest of the market alongside with DeFi, right? But if the summer doesn't play out for Zen, I'm looking at winter of 2024, October, November 2024. And then that's the first cycle for Zen. The second cycle could be towards the end of 2025, but we're not going to get there yet. Let's just talk about what is going on. Why is Zen stagnant and why are we still at these levels right here? Is simply because of one thing, X1 blockchain. Yes, people have been speculating, asking for when X1, all the Wenians. The Wenians have been asking this Levin character, when is X1? But I think he's just trying to pretty much be very, very cautious. If you notice, there's a Hispanic gentleman by the name of Ricardo Corazon. Jack Levin is kind of monitoring his court cases and everything, because remember, people sacrifice for pulsechain, and Ricardo got the pulsechain sacrifices before he delivered a product. Some people are speculating, the tech law kind of guys, the lawyers in crypto are saying that could be problematic for pulsechain and whatnot. So I think Jack is taking measures and cautionary tales to be careful not to get jammed up by regulators by saying, hey, burn your Zen from any chain, and then you might get some X1 allocations and whatnot. So basically what he's trying to do, I think, is give us the product first, X1 blockchain, and then the burning phase would begin. Maybe that's what's going on behind the scene, and that is causing much more delays, which is very unfortunate, because people were really anticipating X1 to launch in this summer so we can take off from there. But there's also another deciding factor for X1, which is the code within itself. Right now he's testing Phantom DAG summary alongside with the Hedera hashgraphs technology. So there's DAG mixed with Phantom's code, which Jack initially thought, well, he said that Phantom code, there's nothing like it pretty much. That's why he wanted to kind of fork it and make something better. Until he really looked into Solana recently, now he's getting hype and excited about Solana. So he's saying that because of EVMs. Yes, EVMs are going to be here long term, but he's also looking at integrating SVM, the Solana virtual machine. EVM is just Ethereum virtual machine. So Solana virtual machine compatibility to be integrated with X1. I think that's what he's looking into. That's why the Solana wave has been going on within the X1 blockchain. If that happens, there could be further delays as to how the integration is going to happen and how, Solana's virtual machine will be integrated into this, or maybe he'll have to scratch the whole thing off and rewrite it. If that happens, I'm not seeing X1 until 2025, but let's just hope that stuff like that will be resolved very soon so we can see X1 within month rather than within the next year. Because if we launch late, then people just going to be like, they're going to be moving over to something else, and you don't want that. You want to hold the crowd. You don't want to let them go, because if all the crowd leaves, then it'll be a wrap for that blockchain. It'll launch, people just like, man, whatever. But yeah, that is where we stand for X1 blockchain. The development is still going on the side, but it's also being cautionary tales using it on the allocation side to prevent stuff like that. Now, where do I see the likes of X1 blockchain and pulsechain and all these chains going ham? X1, I think even if it launches today, you're not going to see crazy numbers until maybe mid to late 2025. Where am I basing this off? There are first cycle movers in terms of altcoins, and there are second cycle movers. This is where I categorize my altcoins. What am I talking about? Let's just move over to the list of first cycle altcoin movers. The large caps I'm talking about, BNB, Solana, even XRP, you can argue Cardano and all of these ones. They pretty much follow the Bitcoin hype and the Bitcoin wave. So whenever Bitcoin tops, Ethereum moves next to it, you're going to see some of these large caps following Ethereum, because liquidity usually leaves Ethereum and then it trickles down to the Solanas and the BNBs and whatnot. They first cycle movers. So those ones, what we just talked about, between now and the end of this year and first quarter of 2025, you're going to see most of them explode. But then you have Blast coming up. But then you have some of these layer 2s coming up. They can catch the wave of the second to the end of the bull cycle. Second cycle mover altcoins, which is number one chain is pulsechain. Pulsechain is not going to do crazy amount of numbers until Richard Hart works out of court and he becomes victorious against the SEC, which I see that happening, and he's sitting on thousands of Ethereum, and that's when you're going to see pulsechain do some crazy numbers. Not right now, but mid to late 2025. And that goes for the X1 blockchain, because if pulsechain does numbers, I think X1 blockchain could also do some numbers. And this is where you're going to want to categorize your Zen at, Look at second cycle movers. If you divide your altcoins and your investments, stay diversified, none of this stuff would bother you. Some people are complaining on Twitter, the Wenians or whatever, but I'm not complaining because I'm diversified. If you diversify, you're at peace. If one bag goes to zero, hopefully the other bag will take off. Windows and doors won't be shut. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket thinking that, okay, I'm going to put all of my money into the Zen ecosystem and just close my eyes and say, yeah, this is it. This is the end all be all for me. That would be a silly mistake, because you're going to be missing out on pulsechain. You could be missing out on, some of the Solana gains or Cardano or whatever other blockchain. So stay diversified. In my opinion, that's the best move. You're not going to make much crazy gains out of it, but at least you won't lose your sleep if Zen doesn't perform or X1 blockchain doesn't perform. Then you have other bags on other blockchains, and you can rely on those to have a little bit of come up in this crypto game. But that's it. If you want mad gains, I think you're gonna have to spread your investments or participation or whatever you call it. If you just don't be silly enough to drop everything in just one basket. Some people, they do that because they don't understand any better. They want to overly invest into something. That's why you're emotional. That's why you just trying to pressure Jack Levin so he can launch X1, because you're overly invested into this thing. If you was did a little bit of electroneum here and there, and you did a little bit of, I don't know, pulsechain here and there, and get a little bag of, you know, maybe 3 or 4 different blockchains where you are heavily there, then stuff like this won't bother you. I think is crypto progression, is you having the ability to test different blockchains and to be able to navigate them as a cryptocurrency user. This is where I stand. That's why I don't like, you know, just worshiping one thing and putting all your life in there and just hoping and praying for that thing to play out. Because if it doesn't play out, you're going to be looking back like, man, I should have been into this and I should have been into that. And, you know, the only thing you need to be careful though about diversification, I'm not telling you to jump into all of these different blockchains, but choose maybe 2 or 3 that you are heavily invested in. The rest, just play money. That's it. And then see where that takes you. That's what I mean. Like up the video, share it, subscribe for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.